Hi everyone, Simon here. Hope you're all doing well, having a good week, that sort of thing. Okay, so new episode of Musical Discoveries, and this time it's the Nova Twins. I'm not sure if it's the Nova Twins or simply Nova Twins. I believe it's simply Nova Twins. Now, the Nova Twins are a duo from London. They are uh, two ladies. First of all, I've written down their names here. We have Amy Love, who is the vocalist and guitar player, and Georgia South, who's the bass guitarist. Okay. Um, Now, how I first discovered them was probably about 5 years ago. I was at a festival and I saw them playing, and they kind of impressed me at the time and kind of didn't at the same time. It was one of those things where I could see they had something, but it wasn't quite there yet. But they had the genesis of something good, and they definitely have a dynamic between the two of them. Now, when I saw them, they were performing, like I say, at a festival. Obviously, it was the two ladies, and they had a drummer, who I'm guessing was just a session player. Yeah, but they had a good, like a, it was like a good rock energy, but they're not what you would call like a traditional rock, what would be classed as like classic rock now. Um, it was more alternative. They definitely, when they were playing, relied heavily on effects, particularly bass effects, which is a thing. It made it sort of grimy and punky at the same time. And like I say, I enjoyed it, but they were missing something. Right, but I still followed them anyway, because hoping that they would improve. Because any musician, they I don't want to sound condescending here. So if it sounds condescending, it's not meant to be. But any musician matures over time. Yeah, your playing gets better. Your playing gets more tasteful. Your songwriting gets better, and they released a couple of albums. The first two albums they released were uh, "Who Are the Girls" and "Supernova," and they were okay, but still missing something. However, they've this year they've released "Parasites and Butterflies," and I've got to tell you, it's a real step up in everything. Songwriting has stepped up, performance has stepped up, production has stepped up. Yeah. To the point where I think they're definitely maturing as musicians. They're definitely finding their niche as well. There's some good stuff. They've released a couple of singles off the new album. The first one being "Monsters." Highly, highly, highly recommend that song. Yeah, and they just released another one called "Soprano," which is another good track. Now, like I mentioned before, they have like a grimy punk sound about them, but also some rock sensibilities. Um, I believe they performed at the Mobo Awards recently, and there was a kind of a new category introduced for alternative acts, and they were nominated for that. So um, I would say that they fit really well into that, yeah, that alternative kind of sound. Because, like I say, they got rock sensibilities, but they're not what you would call a traditional rock band. Yeah, especially with effects laden, um, particularly bass that's going on. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind the effects at all, um, but it all comes down to songs. Yeah, that's the big thing. Songs need to be good. Yeah, you can do all this lovely wizardry on your instrument, but if the song's not very good, then people aren't going to listen. Yeah. Now, with the songwriting, let's just take that song, the song "Monsters." The songwriting on that has really stepped up, like I mentioned. Um, If you see them performing it, it's it's instead of being, hey, look at me, how good I am on this, they've actually done something which everybody would listen to, not just a fan of their genre or not just a follower of them. It's the kind of thing that everybody could listen to. Um, I've seen them performing it live as well, particularly at the Mobo Awards, and they got a certain presence on stage. They really do have a certain presence on stage. So yeah, Nova Twins. I will put a link to their channel down below, but I highly recommend you check them out. Like I say, they've stepped up for this new album, and I'm really interested to see how they progress in the future. Yeah. Now, the one thing I don't know whether it's a something that's happened organically or whether it's like a record company influence, but I do feel that they will get unfairly labelled as like a female royal blood. I hope they don't. Um, but I get the feeling that some people will label them like that. Sounds aren't too dissimilar from each other. You know, royal blood, two guys, Nova twins, two girls. Yeah, I hope they don't. I hope they carve their own niche, their own sound, and people can say that's the Nova twins sound. But time will tell on that one. Okay, now, so yeah, I think I covered everything on this one. I feel like I waffled a bit, actually. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. If I have waffled a bit, I am sorry. But I just really wanted to let you know my musical discovery for this week. Nova Twins. So everybody check them out. I've been Simon. You've been amazing. Take care, and I'll see you next time.